Why hello tamers of the digital world, welcome back to the channel. Another BT14 deck list for y'all, and I'm giving you my favorite one, my yellow vaccine deck. I do actually think this deck is tier 1, and I think there's multiple ways to do it. I have 3 different decks. I have 3 different yellow vaccine decks, all with high win rates on the BT14 meta, including War Greymon, Lugamon, Mirror Match, Blue Flare, Bloom Lord, whatever. It's doing very well. I think this deck is super skillful, super rewarding if you play it properly. And I don't have anything else to add to that. But there are multiple ways to play this deck. This is just one way, and I'm going to show you because I want to. If you guys like it, let me know in the comments, and as well, like and subscribe to the notification on Smash Potatoes. That way you know when all these amazing Digimon deck videos do go live. For the egg, only need 4. 4 copies of Tokomon. Tokomon says that once per turn, when a card is added to your security stack, draw a card during your turn. So it's a draw egg. It's the most consistent draw egg for this deck, and drawing is good. Love to see it. Alright, rookies. 4 copies of the new super rare Patamon. Super rare Patamon has a really good effect that says start a main phase. When your Digimon in your... Sorry. Let me try that again. Start a main phase. You look at your security stack. You Digivolve into a Digimon there. And then you can shuffle your security stack. And if you Digivolve, you may place a yellow card vaccine trait at the bottom of your security stack. So what it lets you do is you look at your security, you get to see what's there, that's pretty powerful, and then you evolve to a 4, and then shuffle your security, and then you put a card from your hand after you're done Digivolving to the bottom of security, a yellow vaccine card. Something you don't really need right now, but maybe you get access to later. And that's the whole game of this deck, by the way. You're going to be manipulating your security so often in this deck, you're going to know what's there. And you need to be able to toolbox with it later. And that's really powerful. That's 5,000 brain IQ nonsense if you can pull it off. That's why I say this deck is super skillful and rewarding, because it really just takes that whole security toolbox level and just turns it 3D, 4D, 5D. It's pretty crazy. It also has a really good inheritable that says when a card is added to your security stack, gain memory. So when you are done with that interaction, you gain memory, or any other time once per turn you do it, gain memory. It's pretty good. Patamon is a very powerful card, and it's the heart and soul of this deck. Alright, moving along. 4 copies of Kudamon. This on-play Kudamon reveals top 3 cards of your deck, add a yellow Digimon vaccine, and a yellow tamer to your hand, bomb out the rest. Usually adds a card, sometimes adds 2. Really nice. Also has a 1 attacking inheritable once per turn. If there are 6 or fewer cards in both players' security, your both Digimon gets minus 2,000 for the turn. Doesn't come up super often, but when it does, it's usually GG's for the opponent if you get to there. So it's a pretty good card. And lastly, this one might be a bit of a weird take. I'm playing 4 copies of Pillowmon. Digimon cannot be played by effects. In a format that has Lugamon and Bloom Lord all over the place potentially, I wanted to include Pillowmon to kind of help against those matchups and against random obscure dot deck. Pillowmon comes up. Pillowmon is clutch. I'm really happy I play 4 copies of it, because if I see it in those matchups, things usually go my way. So 4 copies of it I think is fine. Pretty good card. Alright, on champions. I'm playing 4 copies of the brand new secret rare Angemon. This card costs 3 to evolve or 2 on a Patamon. When attacking, you can delete it to activate one of its effects. You can either put an opponent's Digimon with a virus trait at the bottom of the opponent's security stack, or do minus 6k to something. You also don't have to do any of that if you don't want to. Not a big deal. But yeah, this guy can just take really big virus guys and stick them on security. Like Machine Dramon, you know that card's a virus, right? Well, Angemon just says, fuck you, Machine Dramon, like I regularly say on a regular basis. And that's just my heart and soul. So that's pretty cool. And then on deletion, you can place place this card to the bottom of the security stack, and then hatch an egg if you control a tamer, which you probably will. So it lets you turbo through your eggs sometimes. You might want to play a 5th egg in this deck. I haven't needed a 5th egg yet, but you might get there, so maybe you want to do it. On deletion and inheritable, you can put a yellow vaccine card from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. This card is a secret rare in the set, and it's super powerful and does a lot of things for the deck, and it outs big virus boss monsters if that's a thing you're afraid of, and that's pretty cool. Cool. Next, this is not a yellow hybrid deck, I swear to God. These are the only hybrids we're playing in the deck. 4 copies of Kazemon. We play them because A, I want to be able to evolve over Tamer and hybrid for a game if I need to, but B, sometimes you just gotta evolve in the back so that you can go into ultimate and then go from there. and Kazemon just helps you with that. The only really annoying thing is it's not a vaccine, it's a variable, so you can't get any yellow vaccine synergy with it, but it is a champion, and it goes over your tamers sometimes, and you win the game. So I think that warrants its inclusion. Plus, they hit Geogreymon, the BT13 one, that you'd play like 4 copies of, so it does kind of make things awkward. We're also not playing the build that like plays Angelomon, so you don't play Godamon in this build either. So I think Kazemon is just the way for this particular deck. Okay, cool. Moving on, we're playing 2 copies of Rapidmon. Rapidmon, not super bad against the meta, honestly. It has got Armored Purge, it evolves for 4 in this deck always. Not a super huge deal. But when you evolve, like for each of your tamers, suspend something. And up to 3 of your 1-stage Digimon can minus 5,000 for the turn. It's good at actually taking down like boss monsters. It's also really good coming out of security, obviously, because it is a vaccine, which is really powerful. So you can like do that, suspend a big boss monster, give it minus 5k, then maybe you just evolve an ultimate and kill it. Like that's straight up a thing you can do in this deck. So I think the Rapidmon has really good utility, and I like it. That's a 2 of. That's good. And lastly, the 1 copy of the limited Geogreymon that is just way too powerful, so it's at 1. So play 1 copy of it. Search your security, play Tamer, and they can pop something 3k or less, we suspend a Tamer. Not a big deal. Pretty good stuff. Cards limited for a reason. Alright, so this variant of Yellow Vaccine plays 4 copies of this Rise Greymon. Gives you sec +1 if you have 3 Tamers. And when you evolve, play Tamer. No on-play activates. This is my more aggro version of it. Not so much a control version. I think it's not a big deal. I think the card's fine. And sec +1 comes in handy with some of the boss monsters in this deck, which we'll get to soon. Then we also play 2 copies of Rise Grey X Antibody. If you do manage to evolve it on a Rise Grey, you will do 2,000 damage to something for every Tamer you have. And when you evolve it naturally, or offer 1 on a Rise Grey, you just play Tamer as well. And the on-play activates, so it works well by Ready Tamer TK. And then during your turn, 1,000 DP for every Tamer you have. Like, it's a good card. It's just solid. It's reasonable in this variant of the deck. And lastly, we are playing 3 copies of the newest hand trap. Well, one of the newest hand traps. Magna Andromon Ace. I'm of the opinion that this is the best hand trap in BT14, but if you're wrong, if you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Costs 4 to play, 3 to evolve, 8,000 DP. You can play it for 4, and heal, because on player when Digivolving it heals. You can blast Digivolve it during your opponent's turn if it meets the requirements, that's fine. But when you play or evolve it, you heal, and then do 1,000 DP to something for every security you have. You know, it can do a most of 6,000 because it can't like heal you if you're more than 5 security, but that's usually enough to kill things. That's pretty strong. Card's really good in my opinion. Now on to the 6s. I've toolboxed the 6s in this deck. I'll tell you what I'm doing now, I'll tell you what I was doing. So right now we're playing 2 Venusmons. Venusmon's just broken, it's also a vaccine. And when you evolve it, give the -1 security global effect. Things with security effect attack keyword cannot activate when Digivolvings or when attacking or can't attack Venusmon. Card is broken. We are playing 2 copies of Kentaurismon, also a vaccine by the way. And when you evolve it, you get to basically, if you have 6 or less, gain 3 memory, and then you get to put a yellow card on top of your security. Pretty good. And then when attacking once per turn, you can suspend by trashing a security, and you -7,000 something. Combos obviously really well with Rise Greymon, and if you watch my Kentaurismon deck profile, you know how I feel about that. Pretty strong. And we're playing 2 copies of Seraphimon from BT14. When evolving, you recover 1, and then all turns once per turn when you recover 1, you get something -7,000, and this gets sec +1. Also combos well with Rise Greymon, because all of a sudden you're swinging for 3 checks as opposed to 2. That's pretty cool. So what I was doing originally with this deck is I was playing 4 Venusmon, and then 1 and 1 of these. But I decided that I wanted to spread it out a little bit, take more advantage of the Rise Greymons, and so far it's fine. If you really like the Venusmon control, play 4. I was doing that for the longest time. It fucking works. Let me tell you, Venusmon is one of the dumbest cards printed ever in Digimon. And that's all that is. Last Digimon is 1 copy of Shine Greymon Ruin Mode. When you evolve, -5k to everything. On deletion, -5k to everything. End of attack, you just get to blow itself up, pop something, hatch an egg, heal 1. And the -5ks are globals, affecting anything that comes into play during your opponent's turn. So, good top-end boss monster. Yeah, that's what it is. Card is super powerful. Now we're going to move on to the Tamers. We're playing 4 copies of the 3-drop TK from BT14. When you play it, you can add the top card of security stack, and if you do, you can add a yellow vaccine card to replace it from your hand. And then your turn, when you heal, you get to suspend a Tamer to gain memory. Your ideal turn 1 play is Hatch, Evolve Patamon on the back, play TK, toggle security, it puts your opponent at 2, and then you get that value every turn after, because I feel like every turn in this deck you can modify your security. So the Tamer is very, very, very good. Then our other Tamer is 2 copies of Memory Tamer TK. You obviously peek at your security and grab something, and then heal 1 when you play it, and then Memory Tamer. TK is very powerful in this deck. So yeah, I think it's fine. It's 2 copies, you don't need multiples. On to the options. We play 1 Reinforcing because that 1 card's broken. And then the last option, we play 4 copies of it because it's so broken and people wanted it limited on the ban list. It never happened. This is Emissary of Hope. This 1-cost option has an ability that says you search a security stack, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into 1 yellow level 6 or lower Digimon with the vaccine trait among them without paying the cost. Wow, isn't that nuts? And then shuffle your security stack. If you Digivolve something and have a TK in play, recover 1. Wow, crazy card, all for 1. Nuts. It's like an HPD. It's pretty crazy. And then it's a security option, in fact, is pretty good. It lets you play a Patamon from your hand or trash, then add Emissary to your hand. Like, hello, this card is nuts. If this card didn't exist, I think that could be a lot worse, but this card just lets you cheat and do illegal things for legal actions. It's pretty wild. Yeah, that's it. That's this version of Yellow Vaccine. I really am a big fan of the Yellow Vaccine toolbox cards in BT14. It lets you do some crazy things, and like I said, I have 2 other decks that perform equally as well, and I just love Yellow. I love the toolboxing, and I think it's really fun. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye!